The models just changed everything. What looked like a warm Christmas break 3 days ago has completely flipped, and the numbers coming in right now are shocking. Multiple major snowstorms are lining up for the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. The pattern everyone said was canceled? It's not only back, it's intensifying. The question is, how many inches of snow are we really talking about? The most critical information drops at the 30-second mark. You need to hear this. Here's what's happening. For the past 14 days, Arctic air has been pouring into the central and eastern states. Warmer temperatures dominated the west, classic positive PNA pattern. And here's the twist. The first 13 days of December turned out colder than anyone originally predicted. Much colder. This matches our winter forecast almost exactly. The locations, the intensity, the snowfall areas, everything is lining up. But what comes next is even more interesting. Right now, at this very moment, a clipper system is bringing heavy snowfall to parts of West Virginia and Pennsylvania. High elevation locations could approach 1 foot of snowfall. 1 foot. In some areas that haven't seen significant snow yet this season. But that's just the warm-up act. The main event hits tonight into tomorrow morning. A mid-Atlantic portion of this system targets Virginia, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and even New York, especially Long Island, then southern New England. Heavy snowfall starts ramping up for West Virginia and Pennsylvania. The energy is coming in linear. Quick blast of snow. Here's where it gets interesting. There's no northward motion with this energy. That curve extends the amount of time these areas see snowfall, and that's why totals are going higher than expected. The shocking numbers are revealed at minute 2. Don't skip ahead. D.C., Maryland, eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, southern New England, and southern New York. Some people in these areas could pick up 4 to 6 inches of snowfall, and this trend is intensifying. Areas further inland are getting in on the action too. But here's the critical detail. The storm hasn't shifted west. The precipitation field has actually increased in size. More snowfall overall than originally anticipated. Not a location shift. A size expansion. Sunday night into Monday brings really cold temperatures for the eastern seaboard. Really cold. Southeastern Virginia could drop into the upper teens. That's extreme for a coastal area. And this reveals something crucial about ocean temperatures. Pay close attention to this part. The ocean is cooling from all these Arctic air masses moving through. For anyone living in a coastal area or close to the coast, ocean temperatures influence your temperatures when these snow systems arrive. This is critical. With the very cold start we've seen, ocean temperatures are decreasing much quicker and much earlier than typical. This pays dividends down the road for potential snow and cold chances. It makes the ocean less of a factor. For coastal folks hoping for snowfall, everything we've seen so far is good news. Very good news. The game-changing revelation happens at minute 3:20. This is what you've been waiting for. Things get milder as we approach the 16th and 17th, but it's not crazy mild. Our northern jet hangs out over the northern states with little dips and ridges, nothing extreme. Then we get periodic mild troughs. Around Thursday the 18th, a pretty strong low sits just north of the UP of Michigan. This brings northern plains, upper Midwest, and Canadian snowfall, even some showers. Potential severe weather underneath because it's warmer for this little period. But look at what happens on the back end. This isn't an extreme trough like we've seen recently. But it's certainly not a warm pattern in the east. It's a cooler pattern in the east. And this raises an important question. How intense is this warm-up anyway? A lot of people are panicking on social media. Winter's canceled, huge warm-up coming, Christmas torch. People are throwing these terms around. It did look like that at one point. Not the winter canceled part. That's ridiculous. But the torch around that time frame. Here's the plot twist. It has looked less and less like a dominantly warm pattern. More back and forth. Even on Sunday the 21st, the jet stream is flat, but well to the south. We're probably dealing with some above normal temperatures in the deep south, but certainly not warm in other areas at all. The most shocking data appears at minute 5. The promise is being delivered right now. As we approach Christmas, another trough descends into the east on Christmas Eve. Not a major one, but it is a trough nevertheless. Definitely colder. As we reach towards Christmas, a clipper system moves through very far to the north with a southward descent as it heads eastward. This could be a threat for the mid-Atlantic and northeast. We're at hour 282 at this point, too far out for specifics. But the overall pattern matters. This brings snowfall even to southern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. It's cold enough, according to this model, towards the very end, and even further south diving storm along the northern jet brings another mid-Atlantic northeast system. The specifics don't matter yet, but look how cold this air is. If it supports snowfall in Virginia and DC, we're not in a warm pattern. That's not a torch warm pattern at all. It's been cold this entire model run. The European model shows this clearly. The GFS model shows similar things, past our first system, which is identical, towards the 16th, 17th, 18th, a strong low above the Great Lakes, 981 millibars. Very intense. The same line looks concerning for thunderstorms and severe weather coming up in about 5 or 6 days. Then we're colder. Not quite as cold as the European model. For the 21st, another cold front rolls through, bringing cooler temperatures briefly. 23rd, 24th, 25th. Look, the jet stream's flat, pretty zonal. That means really flat, no troughs and ridges. But there's snowfall happening in southern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City. That's not a torch. That's not a warm pattern. We're dealing with pretty temperate temperatures, maybe near normal to slightly below normal for a lot of areas. This is not the original warm pattern that seemed possible. The critical turning point is at minute 7. Keep watching. We get a 27th, 28th system. Very far out, but both models show something similar around a very similar time frame in the very long range. The biggest takeaway? A lot of storms descending into the mid-Atlantic and northeast with enough cold air to support significant snowfall. That's the trend for the medium to long range on both models. We even get another system with very cold air afterwards. 28th, 29th. This is interesting. The low almost goes southward. The GFS does strange stuff in long-range runs. The specifics don't matter. When you see something so odd that you don't have anything to compare it to, you get skeptical. Especially at hour 366. It's unlikely to happen. But the bigger picture? We get colder air around Christmas. Gets even colder afterwards with a major trough in the east, and some coastal activity perhaps present as the southern jet gets infused into it. That jet connection, big trough in the east. If models begin to trend this for the long range, that's a good sign. We're returning from that temperate to slightly below normal pattern back into something far below normal for temperatures. Don't miss what happens next. This changes everything. Total precipitation on the European model is elevated in the west. We've seen this for days. There is precipitation in the east. Not crazy amounts, but enough to support snowfall opportunities and cold fronts rolling through. The anomalies show the biggest below normal area is the deeper south. They don't need it. They saw drought all summer into fall and now winter. This area really needs precipitation. Unfortunately, that doesn't look to come over the next 14 to 15 days. But highly above normal for the entirety of the West Coast and a lot of the Rockies. Total snowfall on the European model shows mountainous west looking relatively active. For the northern plains and upper Midwest, a little less than we've seen over the last couple weeks. If you compare the past 14 days to the next 14 days, there's a huge decrease in this area. Why? We don't have those massive troughs rolling through that support frequent clippers. That goes out the window. More so, we see weaker systems moving through that intensify as they reach towards the mid-Atlantic and northeast. A lot of these clippers are moving up through Canada and moving down into the east, and that's why we get significant snowfall in these areas. The revelation at minute 9 changes the entire forecast. Pay attention. This snowpack up in Canada, we're seeing tons of snowfall up there, areas where it doesn't melt very easily. This is another thing that bodes very well for cold air moving down the road as we reach towards Christmas and afterwards. Into January and February. Basically the rest of winter. Similarly to those Atlantic temperatures we talked about earlier, this Canadian snowfall matters. Massive amounts. Tons of freezing in the water. Ice and snow. This all helps as Arctic air masses move over these areas. It makes the cold even more potent. It retains that Arctic air as it moves down. Typically, when an air mass moves from the Arctic down to the United States, it increases in temperature as it moves down. It doesn't stay quite as potent, but when there's snow and ice underneath it, that increasing temperature slows down significantly. It helps maintain intensity. The Arctic blasts that arrive will be colder than normal because of this snowpack. The GFS model is shockingly similar. We get a similar area of snowfall, a little further south, which is classic GFS behavior, but both models are putting these areas in their crosshairs. The GFS shows a bit more going on for the northern plains, upper Midwest, and Great Lakes compared to the European model, which keeps it further north. The GFS model is known for pushing things further south. 1 or 2 times out of 10, it's correct. But often it's a bias. A problem with the model showing things too far south. The temperature anomaly breakthrough happens at minute 11. Looking at the European model temperature anomalies, we have a major Arctic blast moving in. This could bring potentially historic temperatures, especially considering we're in mid-December. Very intense cool down. Lasts multiple days until Tuesday and Wednesday. Then we finally see a brief back-and-forth warm-up. Pretty intense warm air for Thursday and Friday, 18th and 19th. Then brief cool down, brief warm-up, brief cool down. Not so brief actually. This one moves in for the 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th. Then it looks like we're warming up again, but we move into something that supports more longevity for colder air in the east. The GFS model shows big cool down, brief warm-up, brief cool down, brief warm-up, brief cool down, brief warm-up, brief cool down, brief warm-up. Then, colder air moves back in. That major trough finally sets up over the east as we're approaching the end of December. Did that look like a total torch to you? Warm and dominant? No. It's back and forth. Here's something important many people are missing. The crucial insight comes at minute 12. A lot of complaints about lack of snow are circulating, but when we have these air masses moving and changing, unlike what we've seen the last 14 days where cold air dominated, this back and forth actually supports more low-pressure systems, more moisture. Overall, more opportunities for snowfall when that cold does move in. Interesting things are expected for the second half of December moving forward. Very interesting things. Let's break down what this means for you specifically. If you're in the mid-Atlantic or Northeast, multiple snowstorm opportunities are setting up. Not just one, multiple systems. Each one brings the potential for significant accumulation. The coastal ocean cooling we discussed? That's a game changer. Previous winters, warm ocean temperatures would suppress snowfall totals near the coast. Not this year. The ocean has cooled enough early enough that coastal areas have better snow chances than normal. For the northern plains and upper Midwest, the pattern shifts. Less frequent clippers than the past 2 weeks. But when systems do arrive, they intensify as they move east. You might see less snow locally, but the overall pattern remains active. The west coast continues seeing elevated precipitation. Mountain snowfall stays active. The Rockies see above normal snow. This moisture eventually feeds systems moving east. The revelation at minute 14 is critical for Christmas planning. What about Christmas specifically? Both models show cold air around Christmas. Not extreme cold like mid-December, but definitely below normal. Storm systems are possible. The 24th shows a trough. The 25th to 28th period looks active. Travel plans for Christmas week need to account for potential winter weather. Not saying don't travel, but monitor forecasts closely. Have backup plans. Check conditions before leaving. After Christmas, models show an even stronger pattern developing. Major trough in the east. Potential for significant cold and snow as we close out December and enter January. That Canadian snowpack we discussed keeps Arctic air masses potent. When cold air descends in late December and early January, it stays colder longer. This sets up favorable conditions for major winter storms. The Atlantic Ocean temperatures staying cooler than normal benefit the entire East Coast. From Maine to Florida, cooler ocean means winter systems have less warm air to fight against. Here's what the pattern breakdown looks like step by step. The most detailed explanation starts at minute 16. Week 1. Mid-December Arctic blast brings historic cold. Multiple clipper systems bring snow to mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Coastal areas see better accumulation than expected due to cooler ocean. Week 2. Pattern moderate slightly, not a torch. Back and forth temperature swings. Several storm systems track through. Some bring snow, some bring mix. Active pattern overall. Week 3. Christmas week. Cooler than normal. Storm potential increases. Both models agree on active pattern. Trough position favors East Coast systems. Week 4. Late December into early January. Pattern intensifies. Major trough sets up. Coldest air of the season possible. Multiple storm opportunities. Canadian snowpack enhances cold air. The back-and-forth temperature pattern is actually beneficial. Constant cold can suppress moisture. Temperature variations allow systems to tap into Gulf and Atlantic moisture. This creates bigger snow potential when cold air is in place. Think of it like this. Pure Arctic air is dry. When that air moderates slightly, then cold air crashes back. Moisture gets caught in between. That's when major snowstorms develop. The final game-changing information appears at minute 18. Social media panic about winter being canceled is premature. Completely premature. The pattern evolution actually favors sustained winter weather. Not just a week or two. We're talking about pattern longevity through January and possibly February. The positive PNA pattern that dominated early December transitions to a more variable pattern. But variable doesn't mean warm. It means opportunities. Storm opportunities. Snow opportunities. For snow lovers, this is actually ideal. Constant deep freeze can limit snowfall. You need the interplay of cold and moisture. This pattern provides exactly that. Models trending colder run after run tells us something. Initial warm signals are diminishing. Cold signals are amplifying. This indicates pattern persistence. The Canadian snowpack continues building. Every clipper that moves through deposits more snow across central Canada. That snow doesn't melt, it accumulates. January and February will benefit enormously from this. Here's your action plan for the next 2 weeks. Mid-Atlantic and Northeast residents, prepare for multiple snow events. Stock up on salt or sand, keep shovels accessible, have supplies on hand, not emergency levels, just ready for winter weather. Monitor forecasts daily. Conditions can change quickly with these active patterns. What looks like rain could flip to snow with a slight temperature drop. Northern Plains and Upper Midwest, your pattern shifts but stays active. Less frequent systems, but still impactful. Watch for intensifying storms as they move east. West Coast, elevated precipitation continues. Mountain travel requires winter preparations. Chains, emergency supplies, weather updates. Everyone traveling for Christmas, start checking forecasts now. Make flexible plans where possible. Have backup travel dates if needed. Winter weather is likely during holiday week. What comes next will surprise everyone. The next forecast reveals something models are just starting to show. A potential major storm system right after Christmas. The timing couldn't be more critical for New Year's travel. This pattern we're seeing now? It's just getting started. Winter isn't being canceled. Winter is intensifying. Subscribe now so you don't miss the critical updates coming in the next few days. The pattern evolution happening right now will define the rest of winter. We'll see you in the next forecast.